time that we took more control exactly of what we have. You know, because, for example, myself, and again, just looking historically at how we have evolved. Look, a lot of the actual people who are doing cocoa farming right now, are not the landowners. We have a landowner-tenant system. And I'm a landowner in addition to being a farmer.
Okay.
You know, when you make the thing attractive, then you can do reinvestment. I'm able to do certain reinvestments because I add value. I process and I do different things with my cocoa. Plus, I run a cocoa ecotourism business, which brings in revenue. So I'm able to invest in simple things like handheld machines in our aboboya, etc. I'm able to give certain incentives to my farmers that I work with, such that I'm productive and professional. You know, until we start looking at this, rather than, I'm sorry, and I'm very amused at the way the politicians there are attacking each other and creating their own mini program, while we, the business and professional independent people, are talking about cocoa as a business. Until we start to do actual costing and revenue appropriation, plus run the thing as a business, this whole thing about telling me that you're going to give me 6,000 or 10,000, meanwhile, it doesn't cover my cost of production. Plus, you are now telling me you're going to give me free stuff. Meanwhile, it is stuff that you're actually taking from me. It's completely unfair and unrealistic. So let us have a genuine conversation. You know, and again, just to end on my note, you know, I attended an event yesterday, and I just want to show it. Ghana to the world. This is about a restaurant owner who is actually in the US, who's actually doing food and etc. and doing simple stuff which he's actually trying to involve the use of cocoa differently, etc. We've got to start utilizing the thing ourselves first and foremost. And two, we've got to start looking at how we restructure and do things differently, whether it is a commodities exchange that we have in the West African sub-region, which is something the ICCU are looking at, whether we look at the independent model like the Ethiopians have done with their coffee, etc. There are ways in which we can do things differently. But sorry, to continue doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome is being foolish. And I'm sorry, this whole idea about this talk about plantation, whatever, is almost like you are telling us and rubbing it on our nose that after messing up and cheating us, etc., you are now going to bring some foreign players to come and run our systems. No, it's not acceptable.
Very well. Nana, we are grateful. Thank you so much for the insight you've shared with us. We would have to make progress. Thank you. Nana is spokesperson for the Cocoa Farmers Association. Yes, Richard, a minute, and then I'll go for a minute.
You know, Obi, respectfully, I want to disagree with Prof. When he says, I think he's been very generous, overly generous to this government. You see, when he says that both parties owe Ghanaians apology, it's not true. The NDC owe the cocoa farmer an apology for lying that they'll pay them 6,000 and they are not paying them. The exchange rate conversation Prof raised also, if we use even the 15.5, okay, that we use to calculate the 3,100, even if you use that, they won't get the 6,000 they were promised. So that's a complete lie, a criminal lie. They lied to the Ghanaians. So the question of my brother saying that, again, that they are providing what do you call free fertilizer and all those things, those are not new, right? Even under us, we went a step further. And
you did 50%.
Exactly.
So they paid. Farmers paid part in the government, but they are doing it free.
Here is an additional, which is not going to be free anyway. The point we are making is that, look, even under us, you know about the living income differential.
Sure.
Per ton, $400 was earned for the farmer, okay? In addition to that, you remember the cocoa rehabilitation program that was done? Over $200 million was allocated.
The AFDB loan.
Exactly. To rehabilitate farms, for cocoa farmers, cut down the trees. Hold on.
What happened to the farms?
Well, the farms
have aged.
No, hold on.
The farms have aged. Where are the farms?
I don't think
where are the farms you planted?
No problem. No,
where are the farms you planted?
You are sitting in a grass where the farms planted.
You just hold on.
Guys, one at a time, please. One at a time, please. One at a time.
So, Obi, whilst we were doing that,
the farms were supposed to lead to increase in production.
You have been interrupted minutes ago.
The monies were just squandered.
It's okay.
So you are saying what I'm saying.
Let me hear Richard and then we'll go and come back.
Yeah, so whilst that was happening, the Google farmer was paid per hectare 1,000 Ghana cedis to support. So that was done. The idea that you were saying that where are the farms? That one, I can't answer that for you here.
It is in the annual production that you inherited.
Hold on, let me just conclude for you. So the truth of the matter is that, Obi.
15 seconds.
Yes, the truth of the matter is that the NDC lied to Ghanaians. This conversation about the inefficiency of board, that is well noted. But you see, saying it is very rich, that they are going to deal with inefficiency by earning some lands and allocating and all that. The last time we heard the finance minister talk about inefficiency and how he's not going to tolerate it was in the case of ECG, right? Mm-hmm. That he will not compensate ECG's inefficiency by raising tariff. Now what happened? He went ahead and passed
Richard,
the devil.
I would have to go and come back.
That is the issue. Listen, that is the issue. All the and you must apologize.
All the benefit. This is what people should take away. At the end of this month, Cocoa Board will pay $12 million to 10,000 people to try and manage cocoa. They've been doing that for 30 years, and cocoa is going down. They can save that money.
Thank you. We'll pause here for a short break. When we come back, we'll deal with the Bank of Ghana and then GTech after this short break. Stay with us.
Still, Misaka, and Nemum was a summer brabo, and it can afford swab brabo.
Misaka, pensions, Caro.
Misaka or the Sika. Misaka insurance.
Misaka loan.
Momo Fogusuri Echumaden, the Aboya Nina Yesika Mobile, say MTN, Ana Momo Jumayeni Befrewa, or the 0244 300,000 and a Befrew. Nenumpo Orin Bitsao, one time password, and now say Upin code, ain't one so, Yawa Femoji, Nama Weni Naho, Naunsa, and Kaumo.
So you'll be coming home tomorrow?
Grandma, please don't go to any trouble for me.
I won't.
Back pain? Don't sweep your health under the rug.
Grandma, I told you to relax.
Health issues, sick, unwell, busy and can't make it all the way to the hospital. Very Health. We bring the doctors and medication to you. Very Health. Your phone, your doctors, your peace of mind.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or being late, of course.
Coffee be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No better why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwamio!
Send your goddamn boom. If you put it with a so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Star 712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We are great to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Lasts a lifetime. Tropical cable, wired for Ghana. Tropical cable, top pop-up record.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying every day.
Join us for the 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with its stakeholders at the Accra International Conference Center. 5th to 7th September, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. Themed, Champion in Economic Diplomacy, Connecting Producers, Markets and Opportunities. Exhibitors include Ghanaian businesses and embassies. The bazaar promotes Ghana's products abroad and fosters international trade. Enjoy Latif Abubakar's Ghana Must Go and other vibrant entertainers plus free entry. Sponsors Ghana Exim Bank, GNPC, Green Opal Properties, Zonda Tech Ghana, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GRA, Free Zones Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority, Upsole Consult, We Shop Africa and B5 Plus. Beverage partner, Twillium Industries, clothing partners, ATL and Wooden, official media partners, GBC, Multimedia and SP Agency. The 4th Made in Ghana Bazaar at AICC, 5th to 7th September. Connect and promote Ghana's goods to the world.
Welcome back. This is NewsFile, and here on NewsFile, we put Ghana first. So we just dealt with the issues of cocoa board, cocoa pricing, and all of that, but some few messages, and then we move on to the other issues. This one from Abuaje Buampong, watching us in Takrady, says, Obi, the whole structure of cocoa board is the problem. Appointment based on patronage, not merit. Key leadership positions within cocoa board are often filled as political rewards rather than based on technical expertise in agri, finance, or supply chain management. This leads to a lack of strategic vision and operational competence. That's from Abuaje Buampo. Abuaje, thank you. This one says, Obi, my granny who passed on about 3 years ago at age 115, was able to organize herself to farm acres of land while carrying others cocoa as labor to make more money at her young age to ensure her children are well educated. Through that, she was able to send her children to the University of Ghana in the 80s, as well as sponsoring some to the UK for a better life while she made a better living here. Now, through her hard work, Myself and numerous children are now graduates and living our lives. But the sad point is that the whole village which she stayed to is now turning into a Galamsey town in the Echima Impunua district of the Ashanti region, because farmers are not making much compared to their work input. They prefer to give their land for illegal mining. None of her children or grandchildren, including myself, benefited from cocoa scholarship either. In fact, it has been years of neglect, and politicians must apologize to the cocoa farmers and stop politicizing this cocoa matter. It doesn't make the sector attractive anymore. Obi, a little perspective on the cocoa producer price. Is the current NDC position not inimical to the farmers? One, interbank rate is not the real rate the farmers have to deal with, as they cannot get it from the banks and therefore have to go to the black market, making them worse off in input acquisitions. Two, prices are going up regardless of the exchange rate. And so pegging the price to the exchange rate does not improve their lot, as they have to go to the market. As they have to go to the market to buy with calibrated rates against real prices of goods and services. And listening to the farmer, how do you compete for labor with the alternative of Galamsey, where they get higher real wages per their effort? Steve here in Accra with this one. Quite a number of your messages, but this one says, Cocoa board is of little use in its current form, Obi. With my grandfather and uncles as cocoa farmers, couldn't access cocoa scholarship for my secondary school education. Yet my schoolmates from Tafo and Bumso, whose parents and grandparents had no trace to cocoa farming, came to school with cocoa scholarship. It's a rip-off to farmers, simple and short. This one says, Obi, fantastic show. Our farmers are burdened with heavy taxes, unbelievable cement and building material cost, and cannot even afford basic tools like cutlasses and input. Is this not clear deception? Our farmers deserve truth, fairness, and dignity, but not excuses. Gusty man all the way from Brekum. So let me pause and let's move on to the next issue because of time. The Bank of Ghana came out with a statement this week, and I'll read for those who may not have heard. It says foreign currency cash payments to large corporates. The Bank of Ghana has observed with concern the growing practice of foreign currency cash withdrawals by large corporates. Example, bulk oil distribution companies, mining companies, and other similar actors that are not directly funded by prior foreign currency cash deposits. This practice exerts avoidable pressure on the foreign exchange market and undermines efforts to ensure stability. Accordingly, with immediate effect, all banks are directed to discontinue the payment of foreign currency to large corporates unless such transactions are fully supported by equivalent foreign currency cash deposits lodged by the same institution. Banks must retain proper documentation to confirm the source of funds for every payout. The Bank of Ghana remains committed to supporting the operations of large corporates, recognizing their critical role in sustaining petroleum supply, mineral export, and other essential sectors of Ghana's economy. To this end, the bank, in partnership with the government, has put in place mechanisms to supply and provide foreign exchange liquidity to meet legitimate import obligations of large corporates. These measures are designed to safeguard market stability while ensuring that vital supply chains remain uninterrupted. We expect all banks to comply strictly with this directive and to cooperate fully with the Bank of Ghana in ensuring that available foreign exchange resources are applied efficiently and transparently. Non-compliance will attract appropriate regulatory sanctions. Relevant industry associations are kindly requested to bring this notice to the attention of their members and ensure their adherence. This is signed by Emi V. Kwashi for the secretary to the board. So that's the statement from the Bank of Ghana. Prof, I'll start this with you. What's your understanding of what the BOG wants to do with this?
Good.
I'm yet to understand it.
You need
fully.
a professor to explain it.
Forgive me, and Ghanaians should forgive me. I'm yet to fully understand all of this. From March thereabouts, when we saw this aggressive strengthening of the currency, we felt that we needed to stabilize much early and conserve FX for stability. Because the economy's own FX absorption was low at that time. And therefore, with time, demand will pick up.
Yes.
When demand picks up, in response to government's own economic reform, we are talking about business inputs that are largely imported, denominated in foreign currency. There will be pressure. And we only have a limited amount of FX and all of that. So to a large extent, yes, we are not saying Bank of Ghana should not intervene in the market. Is that okay? Yeah. If the volatility is just too wide and all, but the excessive intervention may create an exchange rate that will not crowd in FX, but it would rather crowd out the FX from the former system.
Yeah, crowd out.
This was what. So I believe that we are at the point where we have an exchange rate that perhaps the market does not think that is a true reflection of what it should, and therefore the crowding in is not happening the way it should. How people will respond to some of these things, you may not have control. We had feared that this may impact remittances. And then you can see the data that remittances have dropped by almost 50%. It's not just that the FX that has gone down. What it means is that projects probably are going to be put on hold and all of that. And remittances support the critical sector of this economy. I mean, the real sector, whether some are into farming, all kinds of things and all of that. So really, Bank of Ghana, I think they should take another look at this. At this directive. This directive. If my memory serves me right, 2013, 2014, we had a similar challenge. There was even a decision where...
A cap on how much you can get from
and even your foreign FX will be converted and all of that. Look, we've gone through a lot of this and all of that. And I think that ultimately it didn't serve us well. This country, we are too fixated on exchange rates. Too much. Our economy is too much dependent on exchange rate rather than the fundamentals of the economy, rather than the real sector of the. And I think that is problematic. Look, exchange rate is not to be pursued as an end in itself. It's a means to an end.
A means to an end.
Okay, so it's all about what economy do we want and how do we position the exchange rate to a large extent. And that is why no country is really practicing free market system in this area. Okay, so central banks intervene and all of that, okay, and manage it to some extent. So I think the problem has to do with what we are going through has more to do with the aggressive strengthening of the currency. Yes. I hope you understand that. And the fact that it's not driven, and we have said this before, that the fundamentals of the economy hasn't transformed. We haven't seen structural transformation or productivity transformation. In as much as I commend Bank of Ghana and also Ministry of Finance in terms of how they have coordinated this from the fiscal discipline and the prudent, I mean, I commend them for that. But I think that yes, at some point you want to ask yourself whether this is serving the economy the way we want it and all of that, and what should we do in terms of the exchange rate to crowd in FX? If we are not careful.
But Prof, when you listen to the BOG governor, when he met CEOs of banks in Accra, so he makes the point that we will no longer allow hidden practices in the remittance and FX space that distort market signals, erode trust, and undermine the cedi. The stability we fought to restore will not be sacrificed on the altar of non-compliance. So you get the feeling that this statement is bigger, is part of a bigger plan to deal with the volatilities in the sector.
Precisely. I don't have a problem. I remember that the more Bank of Ghana wants to have greater control in all of this, the signal it sends to the market
is that it artificial?
May not look. Remember, you are not managing the economy for yourself alone. There are multiple stakeholders and all of that, and they are all looking at the interpretation and how they will react and all of that. Right now, if you look at the divergence between the interbank rate at the retail level, the Forex Bureau, and then maybe the black market, you can see some divergence. If people have the impression that the true exchange rate is not the one, it's going to be difficult for them to trade their FX and all of that. So I think we should look at the exchange rate at some point.
But what is wrong with the directive to the banks? What is wrong with it? That they should not pay out huge effects to corporates who have not gotten prior deposits.
Yeah, so where would they go and get the deposit from? Are they doing legitimate business? Do they have documentation to back the demand for the FX and all of that? Remember, Bank of Ghana and the role of reserves is to also backstop transactions. That the obligation is not totally on, let's say, the import the business to say that I must have the FX at all costs before I can do this import and all of that. And that is why we use our reserves in measuring how competitive we are, credit-worthy in terms of trade. So we have a number of months of import cover. We use that because all of that gives confidence to people we trade with outside in shipping goods to us even before the payment is made. And when for instance, this phone is not manufactured in Ghana. If I buy this phone from a shop in Ghana and I pay for it in cedis, actually payment has not taken place. Because the manufacturer of this phone doesn't take cedis. Until the dollar equivalent of that cedis I paid is transferred out of this country. That's when payment has taken place. And here Bank of Ghana plays a strong role in all of that. So I think the more we do this, my fear is that things that must be solved by the forces of demand and supply, don't use regulation forcefully. Okay, if you use regulations forcefully to solve that which must be resolved by the forces of demand and supply, which again would impact the exchange rate, then in the medium to the long term, you are creating a bigger problem for the economy and all of that.
And I was looking at again the conversation between the BOG governor and the bank CEOs. He makes the point that to enhance oversight, banks and remittance partners must provide weekly inward remittance reports, including transaction level data and FX credit, giving the central bank timely visibility and into remittance flow. So if we all agree that remittance is such a key thing for us as a country, and we've had issue with remittance flow because of the city's performance, then the Bank of Ghana should be concerned and should be seen taking some of these initiatives they are taking.
To what effect? To what effect? And please, let's keep harping this point. A strong city is better than a weak city.
Sure.
We have just been used to the city sliding, so everybody has adjusted to that. So immediately, it kind of tries to shift in the opposite direction, strengthening. People have to readjust, and they are complaining or speaking as if a strong city is not good. A strong city is very good. I commend the bank and the government for strengthening the city. What they have to do is stabilize it further. Okay, remittances will find their level. Now, what the governor is saying is as if to say Bank of Ghana can legislate, they can regulate, they can, by their powers, control the forex market, generally speaking, and for that matter, its effect on the city dollar thing. Let me make this point. Again, because we don't have too much time, we can't explain everything. But here's the point. The laws of economics are laws of nature. Okay? Economics is stronger than law and is stronger than regulation. Demand and supply cannot be legislated. What the governor is saying, and I'm happy you started with the professor, because I was saying to him that after so much analysis, I don't understand what he's trying to say. And if we had time to explain it, you would get what you say about using the mobile phone. My inputs are in dollars. When I finish, for the sake of investment in this country, for the sake of the fact that people have to bring in their money, etc., we guarantee that they can expatriate, their profits and whatever it is. He collects money in cedis. And it is not against the law for him to try and pay back, where banks have nostro accounts and whatever. The system is set up to do that.
Yeah.
Now, Bank of Ghana's role is actually to facilitate that, except there is some unlawful business going on, whatever it is. Now you are saying that after I've traded and done whatever I've done with my dollar inputs and everything, collected my money and everything is fine, I cannot, take the money out, or I cannot pay myself in dollars, or I cannot convert the money to dollars.
Is that your understanding of the directive?
I said I don't understand what the bank.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'm saying that if the net effect of it is that, okay, I've collected CDs, I have 100 million CDs, and you are saying that, one, the local bank should not pay me forex against that. I don't understand how that works. Bottom line, much as I appreciate what is happening, strengthening the CD, etc., they must be careful not to make it too artificial.
Okay.
We have already gotten warning from other places that, hey, please, loosen your hand on this kind of artificial. Made the point.
Let me just add quickly before that if your currency has strengthened by about 40% or so, you cannot call that stability.
Not
disruption.
Okay.
It is movement in a different direction. Stability is, finish.
Yeah, so we thought it was too aggressive. The pace had been front-loaded. This could have been done maybe over a certain period of time, then the market would adjust and all of that. So I think that is where, so yes, as I indicated, I commend Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance, especially with the fiscal discipline, expenditure cut and all of that. But what we have seen here is too aggressive. And look, there are other implications that I didn't talk about. We are encouraging influx of imports and smuggling. Overall, the competitiveness of our domestic private sector may be compromised if we are not careful the way we are going. So, as I indicated, it's about...
But Prof, I think also critically, maybe we have to understand what exactly this directive is about, because I get the sense that we all don't seem to... I just got a message. This one says, Obi, my understanding of the BOG's directive is that people should not withdraw. Not saying don't transfer.
Yes.
Withdraw if you have forex deposit. So we must be clear. And he says maybe we all don't understand the directive, so we should probably understand it first.
So
and I think that's
I was on the floor.
So
I said, clarify it.
Okay.
Because clearly, if the professor said he didn't understand, who am I? That is one. So it is the responsibility of the Bank of Ghana to clarify. That is one. Number two. Withdrawing dollars in Ghana is unlawful. Sorry, it's not unlawful.
Yeah.
It's improper.
Improper.
Okay. In other places, it is unlawful.
Sure.
So if the BOG says that you shouldn't withdraw dollars across the counter in Ghana, I am totally in agreement with it.
Okay.
What I am saying is, and Prof just said that, you have a situation where we like stability, but it was too quick, too aggressive, and not us. Even other international bodies have said, please, it looks like you are doing something active. What we are saying is that those things don't last. And at the end of the day, when you make it too aggressive like that, you end up paying a certain price. Now, the point is this. The economy prefers a stable currency, not a currency that is either appreciating or depreciating too fast.
Okay.
So don't put all this energy in a short-term, quick appreciation that you cannot sustain. That is not good.
So to sustain it, what should they do?
They should effect monetary and other policies in an even-handed way. And I defer to the Prof again. He said, too aggressive. Okay, me, I'm a poor, simple lawyer. What I can see is that when your hand is on the currency artificially, it will cost you. It is not sustainable. At the end of the day, everybody will lose because the laws of economics, people will simply react. And when they react, I said, those who are old enough, remember the days of import license. This is technically the same. Okay? And if you do that, people will sit down, fold their hands and watch you. And the economy is just going to go down.
Let's probably get an explanation from the Finance Ministry just to understand what this whole directive is about before I bring in Richard. So, Frederick, what is this thing?
See what he was against it.
Thank you. both Prof and
Kofi
and Mr.
Yes.
Bento say that the directive is not clear, but trust me, this directive is as clear as crystal.
When I say I don't understand, I'm looking at the import.
The import.
Ultimately,
on
where all of this. Yes. So that's what I meant.
Okay.
If you read the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, it is clear that nobody is allowed to trade in or any other country. You can't from the Ghana cedi. So in the first place, withdrawal of USD cash itself is against this act. Now, to explain or light on, Prof was saying that imports will pick up and then people will need dollar and all those things. There are generally two kinds of forex: the offshore and the onshore. The onshore is the one we are all known to. You have your fiscal dollar, maybe you go and deposit in the bank, or you have a check dollar, you go and deposit in the bank. That is not what we use for international trade. So, to be very clear, you don't need physical dollars. You don't need any form of dollar to engage in international trade. So the penchant, the onshore dollar, the penchant for us to sort of get hold of dollars, get hold of other foreign currencies for international trade is actually born out of our experiences with the cedi. Over the 60 years of the cedi, it hasn't been stable, let's all admit. So people have developed affinity for keeping or storing their money or keeping the value of their money in foreign currency. It has nothing to do with international trade because you don't need fiscal dollars or any form of dollar
to be able to trade.
To be able to trade. All you need is an offshore dollar. And let me come there. You see, the offshore dollar we generate by means of, let's say, exports and official GOG activities. When we export cocoa, we get dollar, which is not fiscal. They credit you mentioned the nostro, and they credit our accounts. When a bank sponsors a client who does exports, the bank receives the exports. Those are all offshore dollars. Those are the dollars we use for international trade.
Yes.
So going into a bank to go and withdraw huge sums of dollars is unnecessary. Yes. You don't need any currency to engage in international trade than the Ghana cedi. What you do need is that you build up your Ghana cedi. You send your invoice to the bank that I want to import this from, let's say, China.
Okay.
Your bank will then debit your account with the cedi equivalent of whatever forex amount you are debiting.
Sure.
Yes. So, to be very clear, international trade has nothing to do with these cash withdrawals and anything. It is a way, and I must admit that we have not done well with ourselves when it comes to cedi. What identifies a country is its name, its flag, and its currency. See, the cedi is culture. Okay. Yes. There are many other things. The cedi is who we are. The cedi represents what we are. The cedi represents our history. The cedi represents where we are even going. So the cedi as a currency itself is more than what is called a medium of exchange. It embodies.
Look, but others have abandoned their currency altogether. Money plays four main functions: as a medium of exchange, a store of value, a unit of account, a standard for deferred payment. So the question is whether the cedi has performed all these four functions
for us.
Maybe for medium exchange to some extent, a store of value. No. So. Let's look at okay, you finish.
So you're actually agreeing with me that over the period, we as a people, and right from the 60s to now when the cedi was introduced, we as a people have not done well or done good by ourselves in the management.
Government have not the people.
Okay. With the management of the cedi.
Yes.
So you see, it looks a bit off that a currency which has always known depreciation is now appreciating. It's like a cold turkey. We are not used to the appreciation of our currency. So when we see that our currency is appreciating, it's like something, an anathema. What is happening?
It's the pace. The
So you see, the strengthening of the cedi is not artificial.
The current one?
The current one. It's not artificial. It has to do with real sector interventions that was made by the government.
Interventions are artificial.
No, interventions are policies which are driven, which are done to drive a result.
Okay.
So I mentioned, we've spoken, I won't belate the gold board intervention. Yes. I won't belate the fiscal consolidation. But these are real sector interventions. And I must tell you, for the first time in our history, through the operations of the activities of the gold board, we have received or we generated more money from artisanal small-scale mining than from big-scale, large-scale mines. What it means is that
Galamsey is driving the.
What it means is that market forces see the forest generating capacity of this economy, and then those demand and supply play in, and which determines the value of the cedi. So the BOG the BOG is very clear. What the BOG directive is saying is that he didn't say that don't engage, don't transfer or don't. He says that you have no business going to withdraw cash from your dollar.
But it gives a leeway that unless such transactions are fully supported by equivalent foreign currency cash deposits lodged by the same institution.
Yes,
what does that mean?
Mr. Bento recently came from the US. When he was coming, he had $100 change.
Okay.
When he went to the bank, he went to deposit his $100. When he's going for his $100, the bank cannot say that I won't give you my $100.
Okay, that's what it means.
That's what it means. That if you went, if you went,
this large body corporate, if they have
dollars,
just individual.
No, it's talking about generally. Okay, it's talking about he used them as an example. You had your dollar, some body came, visited your uncle or somebody came in the bank. You are free to go and take your dollar or your pound. Okay, but not when
you don't have anything.
You don't have anything there, or you sort of even didn't deposit it in cash, and then you go that you want $1 million, $2 million.
But why were people withdrawing such huge amounts in forex? Why were people doing that?
Yeah. I don't want us to. There's a lot going on. I don't want to go into that. That is why we are saying that ab initio, it was illegal.
Okay.
It is illegal. It is not backed by any economics.
Were they not doing that for a purpose? Was there no reason for those huge withdrawals, for which reason the Bank of Ghana has had to step in?
Yes, the Honorable also does something for a purpose, right? So we if we want to go about purposes and those things, the fact of the matter is that is wrong. You can't do it. Stop it.
No, I asked that just for people to appreciate why maybe the BOG directive is necessary. That's why I asked that question.
So whatever purpose for which, I'm just saying that whatever purpose for which you are doing something, doesn't matter if the thing is illegal or not you are not supposed to do it, ab initio. So whatever purpose you want to, you have to doing something, it doesn't mean that the thing is right. What you have to do.
Very well. Yes. Thank you, Frederick. Richard, I don't know where you stand on this after the explanation you've heard from Frederick.
I think Prof. Bokpin's question or statement about managing the currency is not an end in itself, it means to an end.
Yes.
And so on that score, I think he's answered the question. I wanted to ask him a question, but he's answered the question by indicating that what is being done is too aggressive. But I was going to ask you that, so in lieu of that understanding, do you think what is being done is sustainable? But you have answered that question on one hand. To say that it's too aggressive, which means that it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
No.
You understand?
No.
It's not sustainable.
No.
You can disagree. You can disagree.
No, that's his deduction.
The prof is here.
What are you saying?
You cannot speak for him.
Are you a spokesperson?
No, he's here.
Are you a spokesperson?
We are
He's not arguing.
No, but Richard, agree that that's your inference from what he said.
Inference from what he said.
Okay,
But he didn't say that.
Okay, so we can do it. Right, Prof? So excessive intervention in the market, which you agree is not sustainable.
Yes.
In my view, my inference, do you think what the Bank of Ghana is doing is sustainable? Because your spokesperson wants you to answer.
Oh no, I don't have.
But you get the point.
I've made this point several times.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I proceed, right? No, he agreed.
Let him.
So I've maintained that is the way the government approach to managing the economy. We agree with them from the fiscal side and then the complementary for monetary side. We've seen the strengthening of the currency, and I maintain that the pace has been too aggressive.
Okay.
And it will have implications for the economy, clearly. And some of the reactions we are seeing in the market, for which reason Bank of Ghana is coming with this directive and all of that, it is responding to all of these things, and the central bank is looking at how do we manage all of this, okay? So when I say that this directive and all of that, nobody is saying that it's not good and all of that, but ultimately, would this solve the fundamental issue? I hope you understand that, for which people are reacting. This way, you've seen remittances and the rest of them. You've seen import, we've seen government revenue from the port also coming down and all of that. So those are the concerns.
Right.
And when it comes to the city, we are all concerned about the stability, the sustainability and all of that. And let me add this, maybe I may get a chance. The IMF program is ending technically December 2025.
Okay.
And all of that. So if you are looking at the outlook and all of that, people are concerned. Not only that, people who want to withdraw dollars from speak, but even for businesses that need to make payment, transfer out of this country for import and all of that in anticipation of Christmas and all of that. There are real concerns that I believe that we have to look at, and I'm sure my good friend here agrees and all of that. So those are the things that...
No, but Prof, I'll come to Richard. As part of the sustainability argument, wouldn't it rather be a good call? Because the last time I went to South Africa, I couldn't buy in dollars. In fact, I went to the mall and I had to go back to my hotel, pick my passport before I could exchange my dollars into rand before buying anything. Shouldn't we be getting there in Ghana?
Who has stopped us?
So these are the steps.
No. These are regulations.
No, these are the steps. Look, these are the steps.
I agree with you.
We cannot do everything.
So there's a role regulation can play. We cannot substitute for real things that we have to do on the ground. Look, if we talk, the economy's supply capacity is severely constrained. What are we producing in this country? What are we producing? When we talk about entrepreneurs in Ghana today, is to identify something outside and then what? Import. And the rest of them. So that's why we are saying that to some extent, we've seen the role of fiscal discipline, expenditure cut, and I've commended government for that. I've commended the Bank of Ghana also from that. But where you see where the CD is right now, I hope you understand that the aggressive trend from the beginning of the year to where it is it optimal? Optimal. In terms of promoting the economy that we want. Again, if you are looking at export, you are looking at maybe import dynamics and all of that, and whether real cash flow allocations have actually gone to the real sector of the economy. Here you are talking about agriculture, you are talking about maybe industry, you are talking about the rest of them. And I think that until there's substantial cash flow allocation, budgetary allocation, and we are beginning to see the transformation coming from the real sector and the rest of them, then we are going to have problems and all of that. And I'm sure that's also playing the role.
So Richard, please. Yeah. So the short answer, the short answer from Prof is that it's not sustainable. Really, that's the point.
Essentially.
Yes, essentially. You see, and also the point was made, I don't know if by Mr. Kofi Bentel or Prof again, about if people form the idea that the price out there is not real, it will undermine confidence in the market. That the demand and supply elements are not regulating the price on the market. That's one reason it is not sustainable. Because in that way, people would go out and still go and get the dollars outside of the banking system. That's how you lose control of it, and that's how the rate spikes. Obi, I am just surprised how this government wants us to believe that by this excessive intervention in the market, they will sustain the city. We all know the way to sustain any currency is through maintaining your trade balances. So where that you are not having deficits, or you are moving from deficit to surpluses. And that way you are strengthening your currency. So then you are looking at market principle that your demand and supply is meeting at a certain point. So people who want dollars can find it, people who want cedi can find it. And in that case, Obi, you are creating employment, which then makes the whole system sustainable. But what we have now is not sustainable. And one way I will demonstrate for my brother is this. You see, this whole thing that he was talking about offshore dollar, okay? That people can't find it. I know people who early on were trying to their school fees. They were not getting their dollars. They go to the bank, they say this, they say that, they prolong the process and drag it. They were not able to pay for it.
Guta raised that
issue. The point is that what is being done is artificial. And the artificial nature of it is such that you can see it. And that's why the market is reacting. And the Bank of Ghana is dumping more regulation on them. I agree with regulation that seals the loopholes in terms of feeding the black market trade. If you take away the black market trade, then you can then have a handle on how you manage your currency. So that part we agree, and every government has tried to do that. But the bit where they are doing and actually entering it in the way that they are doing, I beg you, it is going to just disrupt the market and undermine confidence in our economy. You probably make the point that you are not managing the economy for yourself alone. There are stakeholders engaged in this economy with us. So foreign direct investment and people who want to come and invest in our economy. Obi, what do you think they are thinking right now to say that they are going to be regulated in the way that there are monies that are there in our currency that they want in another currency, perhaps their own domestic currency? You can't get it.
You cannot withdraw it. You can transfer.
Obi, I made a point to you that people are trying to transfer 5,000 to pay school fees. They can't find it. So what they are saying effectively is that you can't take your money if it becomes cedi. You must use our cedi. And so if I want to invest in Ghana, is that an attractive destination? And mind you, in 2019, Ghana surpassed Nigeria in foreign direct investment. So what you're trying to tell us technically is that you are closing that window, which is the reason why the IMF and the World Bank are beginning to enter into this conversation. Because what you're doing is artificial. You are deceiving us. You know, when we were little, we used to have this cardboard and we'll cut toys and then we'll put lights there. And we invite the kids in the neighborhood and we begin to point it and say this person is beating and all that. That's what they are doing. In the 21st century, with all the AI capacity we have, what you are doing is this baby photo thing that you are doing to us. And it's not right, Obi. It is not going to help anybody. And that's why you have seen that the excitement with which this government came to office, the goodwill they had, they have not been able to show anything. All it is they are doing is to send my good brother to argue in fine English what it is they are trying to do. What they have done is what we are asking. And everything they have done has been cosmetic and artificial at best. This currency matter should be a matter of the economy generating that strength. The strength of the cedi now, it is not actual, it is fake. So that you cannot see
what we are seeing now
is fake because there is no production that is backing it. Where do you get this from? Where did it get from? Let's look at our export numbers. What does it look like? Maybe you can tell us. Is it commensurate? Does it reflect? You have the time. But I'm just saying that your trade position, okay, your ability to allow the market to set its own price. I think that's what it is that we're expecting. The manipulation that they are doing right now, Obi, does not give any confidence to anybody.
But they've told you in the first 5-6 months, gold alone has brought in over $5 billion US.
Obi, so it's as if they discovered gold when they came to office. Suddenly they discovered gold, that gold was not in this country before. So what happens if the price of gold drops? And in fact, this whole thing they are talking about, my good friend Sami Jeffy is doing some good work over there. But the point I'm going to ask is that this whole Galamsey thing that is going, they're buying from small-scale miners. The increased exports they are having, and who are the ones selling the gold to them? Do we accidentally have illegal miners, Galamseyers also filtering through?
They say small-scale.
But I'm just saying that there's Galamseyers going on. And then the Gold Board has done an initiative where they themselves are policing smugglers. Okay? So people are not smuggling. You understand? Yes. People are not smuggling. Yes. But the people are Galamsey. So those Galamseyers, who are they selling their gold to? If we are to assume that Sami and his effort at Gold Board is ensuring that smuggling of gold is curtailed, then the Galamsey that we are seeing, to the extent that their national organizer is issuing order to the president to say that he should decommission all the task force. Yeah. Now, if that is the case, we agree from that there is Galamsey going on. So those Galamsey, who are they selling their gold to? That's a question we need to explore. And so when they are telling us about gold has gone up and all of that, is gold, how many jobs are they creating there in that sector? And how is that affecting the larger economy in terms of driving demand and supply in the economy? So what they have done is indeed formatting, which in another way they are calling resetting. They are resetting all of us to think what reality we know is not the reality we are having.
Essentially, they are
gaslighting all of us. And I think that my brother can do himself a favor because he's a young man, and all of these things are beginning to unfold. And we are going to see the full length of the NDC government and their resetting.
Very well. At my bank, the truth is just we cannot keep on burning the reserves in pursuit of a stable exchange rate. So simply put, no more huge FX intervention from them till at least the IMF program is over. The BOG, before crafting this directive, came around interviewing bank treasurers, seeking to know our key dollar withdrawals. Some of the treasurers told them off. Heavy-handed directives at the moment will inure to the benefit of the black market, and that would erode all the gains. Yes, Frederick, finally, a minute or two, and then we'll go for others.
Sure. We are told that we are burning through our reserves. We are intervening. But you see, the figures don't bear that claim out. Within 6 months, this government has added over less to our reserves. Currently, our reserves stand, as at the end of June 2025, 11.12 billion, equivalent to 4.
From the 8 billion you inherited.
Equivalent to 4.8 months of import cover. So the figures do not suggest that we are killing ourselves to, to keep the cedi where it is. Now, we are also saying that it is what? It is artificial, it is not born out of economics. Our trade surplus increased to 5.57 billion. And you see, to compare that, last year, as at the end of June 2025, June 2024, it was 1.37. So the forex generating capacity of the economy, the trade balance alone has increased by over 300%. So the cedi stability we are seeing is actually born out of real sector development. As the figures are telling us, there's current account surplus, which takes into account all these inflows and outflows, including everything. Of course, we won't go into the academics. It's now 3.44 billion as at the end of June 2025. In the same year, it was less than 1 billion, 937. It has more than tripled. So what I'm saying, what we are saying is that the foreign generating capacity of the economy and the supply of dollar in the economy has improved. And it is as a result of real sector interventions. This city stability we are seeing, it is, yes.
It's gold.
The gold is a real sector. It's a real sector activity.
You want us to go there?
Please. City stability we are seeing, it is not artificial. It is born out of interventions which have resulted in this economy generating more forests. That is why we are seeing the stability. We are not burning through our reserves. It is not artificial. It is as a result of how we have managed the finances of this country.
Will real sector not be manufacturing?
Yes. No, real sector, when we say real sector is the micro. No, it's production, micro level. Mining is not production.
Hold on, look. So
manufacturing is not production.
I agree with you, and I'm happy.
Yes. So the real sector of an economy does not only mean manufacturing.
There's a nuance.
Real sector means
there's a nuance.
We decompose that into three: agriculture, industry, service.
Yes,
that's what we call the
That's and all those three we are seeing improvement.
We are seeing it. Fishing. The magic we are doing in the fishing industry. You should see the numbers.
My brother, look.
So you see, we have data to back to some extent.
Point.
No, the fishing and real sector in general.
Yes.
Okay.
But
I am happy.
A minute each.
I am happy with the progress. And by the way, if all that the Bank of Ghana is saying is that don't withdraw dollars across the counter in Ghana, I totally agree with you. I am also happy that you say we are generating that dollar, volume in Ghana. The problem is where you spend it and say real sector and leave it there. There are nuances to the real sector. We know for a fact, I put up that thing earlier in the year, that gold is what is driving the economy. Yes, gold is a form of production. But if you go down even into gold, galamsey is what is driving that.
Wait, the galamsey
I beg you, let me make my point.
Okay.
We like the output, and there's a cost to everything. And what we are saying is, even if you take the currency, look, what an economy needs is not a low currency, it's a stable currency. So it's not about whether it's high or low, it's about stability.
Stability at what level?
Hold on, I'm coming there. There was a Kenyan example. Prof, if you had time, we'll explain it. They held it at a point and they've kept it stable. When you draw it down too much, then you have to support it. Yeah. What we are simply saying is that management requires great stability instead of erratic shifts.
But the president has the agreement between him and managers of the economy is to keep it within 10 and 12.
We are making a point. The point is where you have to keep something.
Okay.
The economy has a way of sustaining itself.
You don't have to keep it.
You don't have to be aggressive about that. And it's important to us because much as I like what you are talking about, I worry about when it crashes and then we have to revert. So please, you manage it. We like this thing. But this problem of running an economy of galamsey, and two, having to sustain a currency at a point where you are being too aggressive, manage it a bit better.
That's fine.
Prof,
you made a point that the three sectors we've seen some growth.
Yes,
industry,
first quarter growth, even though industry went down, driven by oil and gas and all of that, we've seen a great picked up and all of that. But then, if we are talking about transformation, this is not transformation. And this is not the kind of improvement that will anchor the stability of the currency long term. Those are the things. And then bear in mind, this is the issue. So when you see when we talk about aggressive strengthening, that's different from stability. So we are looking at the rate at which the city has appreciated within this short time. That probably is causing dislocations in the economy.
Okay.
And so when you see that sharp appreciation to where it is now, and the market feels that this is not where it's supposed to be, then it will not crowd in FX. Probably if you talk to some of Ghanaians who live abroad, they will think that it's so difficult to earn dollar.
Okay.
But when they bring it here, your price is so low, they will hold back.
Very well.
And all of that. So we are looking at the exchange without crowding effects. We've seen the surplus and all of that. But if we are to meet all our demands based on requests and all of that, these reserves, there will be pressure on it. And that's why I'm saying that I see where Bank of only for regulation, that yes, we've got the reserves and all of that. But if we have to entertain all these withdrawals and all these demands, these reserves cannot last us for long. Those are the things that we need to
look at. Break. But before that, two messages quickly. A senior lawyer watching us comes with this, and he says, Obi, it looks like the Bank of Ghana's latest directive about corporate only getting foreign currencies if matched by their deposit is targeted at BDCs. If not, then we know for sure that it will hurt companies that sell to the local market, but either get their product abroad or repatriate their proceeds, i.e. dividend, etc. overseas. Example, BDCs, telcos, pharmacies, spare parts dealers, etc. Of course, exporters should not be hurt by this, but importers for the local market. What impact would it have on BDCs and telcos like MTN? Unfortunately, evidence this week shows that the banks are misinterpreting it so much so that NGOs, embassies are all being affected. It requires greater clarity and very fast. And he says, I just had some clients complaining to me yesterday. Okay, that's really interesting. My former colleague here at the Multimedia Group, Dr. Opoku Gapo, listening to us, says, Obi, very exciting conversations there. I'm happy to see the concerns of cocoa farmers being discussed on the biggest radio TV talk show in Ghana. The reality is that even if cocoa farmers were paid 100% of the FOB price, it still wouldn't be enough to make them wealthy or move the majority into the middle class in the 21st century. The core issue is this, that selling raw cocoa is simply not profitable enough. Research shows that cocoa farmers receive just 5 to 8% of the value of a chocolate bar, while manufacturers, processors, and retailers take 95 to 92%. One study even found that on the average, cocoa farmers in Ghana earn less than 5% of what a bar of chocolate sells for in the UK. We need to promote value addition and local processing so farmers can earn a greater share of the final product's value. That way, government can tax the cocoa processing companies and reinvest in cocoa communities. Let's also encourage farmer cooperatives to own and run cocoa processing businesses. That's how we move beyond just selling raw produce and ensure better incomes and long-term sustainability for our farmers. We cannot create riches from simply selling and exporting raw cocoa beans. Yeah, the same like gold. That's Dr. This is where after this short break, we'll come back and deal with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission and fake doctorate and professorship after this short break. Stay with us.
Still, Misaka. And Nemum was a summer brabo. And it can afford na swabrabo.
Misaka order Sika.
Misaka insurance.
Misaka loan.
Momo fogusuri ye echumaden di aboye nyina ye sika ho ban se MTN ana momo dwumaye ni befrewa or the 0244 300,000 and na numpo orimbitsaw one time password ana se upin code enti wonso ye wa femu na ma weni na ho na kawo momo.
Let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we enter the eco park. We were greeted by tour guides who took us through orientation and how to enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man. This amazing experience. Oh, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Sika, sit down to the moon. Did you see a moon? Baggy the one. You never be free. So, what you say bag now, man? One number to show. Wow. That's a minute one for you, Banana Solio.
Dream starts with a prayer, and every prayer and to make you smile, to show you that your smallest deposits can lead to major financial wealth. From the early days, taking maturity, we will be with you, so that when it is time to dream again and you're ready to invest your hopes and dreams into the future, we will still be here with you. So dream again and trust in Blue Financial Services. Visit our branch today for a better future tomorrow and trust in Blue Financial Services.
Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
So, Charlie, the deal there, I almost get her.
Syntax pipe, as tough as it can get.
You get so with your back, sorry. Oh, what the hell?
You was a thing. What the cat never won.
We can catch him. Mitchell. Hey! Now, I'm back.
Between a pie and carbon.
Hey, madam, pipe menu.
A Syntax pipe. Metono, Omukacham send a one day pa. Say a fee, say a foam. The pipe we be a yen gum.
Syntax pipe.
Why a leaky?
Come, madam. From today, Syntax pipe in my pipe. No two ways.
When you know, pipe will be never use
SINTEX pipe.
Syntax pipe.
In a carry water. No, hala.
Kwame! You look amazing. Have you discovered a new secret to stay healthy these days?
Actually, I have. It's called SOS Advance. It is a health supplement manufactured in the UK with 11 essential oils like frankincense, black seed, oregano, and neem, all powered by nanotechnology.
Wow, that's impressive. What does it do?
SOS Advance supports your immune system against invading pathogens, including viruses, bacteria, and toxins. It also provides antioxidant effects to help combat free radicals and reduce oxidative stress on your body.
Wow, I really need this. Like, I've been feeling off lately, but I can't pinpoint exactly what the...
Easy. I think you should get it. You can find it at every pharmacy nearby.
There's a pharmacy here. Let's go. Thank you. I bet his wound's been.
Pregnant and lactating mothers should contact their physicians. This advert is FDA approved.
Yeah, Bungo. Hey, again.
Hello, thank you for calling MTN.
Yeah, this is Jerry. Jolly J for short.
Hi, Jerry. How may I help?
These days, I'm not happy with you guys at all. What you guys do is not cool, crowd.
How do you mean, sir?
You've been giving Bongo gifts all the time.
Who is Bongo?
Oh, Bongo, my friend. He purchased in my room. You don't know Bongo.
Oh.
You've been giving free gifts, but I don't. That don't be gift is him.
That's MTN rewards, sir. You can also get freebies because on MTN, doing always gets rewarded. Doing more of the things you love. Talk, text, browse, and more, and you get to redeem free call time or data by simply dialing *550#.
Oh, sir.
Yes, and on Fridays, you can even get extra special rewards like food vouchers, shopping discounts, and much more.
Didn't tell me anything, no. He will move out. Doing gets rewarded, eh? Hey, but your voice is really nice, so. Would you like to know how I got the name Jolly J?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Jolly. Calling customer care service doesn't give you points.
I'm gonna call my mom. I'll call my grandma. I'll call my ex. That girl can talk, Papa. Hello, Mama. So what's the topic for today?
MTN.
Have you been to Aqua Safari lately? Let me share my experience with you at the new Aqua Safari Resort. When you arrive, you're greeted by warm smiles to Aqua Safari and introduced to your 24-hour butler who already has your itinerary sorted. Enjoy water sports activities like jet ski rides, kayaking, water sliding, flyboarding, and castanet fishing. You can even have your lunch here on the boat cruise. Experience horseback riding, tennis, and some golfing amongst a host of other activities. Let the tour guides take you through the sceneries of the Volta River, the mangrove forest, the friendliness of the animals, local and exotic birds, while you pet and feed them. You can have this large space for your conferences, corporate retreats, and so many activities as part of the package. We chose to have our breakfast with a beautiful sunrise right in front of our cabin. We had an amazing experience and I can't wait to return for more.
Visit Aqua Safari Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park. Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park. Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals are just our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, behavior, and how to interact with them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for teenagers. It's a ball game. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Kwame! You look amazing. Have you discovered a new secret to stay healthy these days?
Actually, I have. It's called SOS Advance. It is a health supplement manufactured in the UK with 11 essential oils like frankincense, black seed, oregano, and neem, all powered by nanotechnology.
Wow, that's impressive. What does it do?
SOS Advance supports your immune system against invading pathogens, including the antioxidant effect, stress on your body.
Wow, I really need this. Like, I've been feeling off lately, but I can't pinpoint exactly what the problem is.
Oh.
Thank you. I bet his wounds pain.
And the special type of blood vessels which fill with blood when we are moving our bowel and help to cushion the anus against the force of transmitting the stool. Afterwards, they empty their blood, collapse, help seal the anus to maintain continence. Over time, these vessels lose the elasticity of their walls, become dilated, permanently filled with blood, leading to congestion of the hemorrhoids. The symptoms of hemorrhoids are bleeding and prolapse of the hemorrhoids when passing stool, itching and feeling of warmth in the anus, and inner vaginal discharge, laser, ligature, and minimally invasive, most effective and painless methods of treating hemorrhoids today.
Muntaba Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Welcome back. This is NewsFile live on Joy News on Multi TV and live on Joy 99.7 FM in Kumasi. We are live on Love 99.5 FM. My name is Osai Bonsu, and in studio, Prof. Bokwen is here, Kofi Bentel, Richard Ahiagba, and Frederick, who advises the Finance Minister. NewsFile is proudly brought to you by Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. MTN, everywhere you go. As educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way, dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. Syntex Tank, it's strong, it's tough. Activa International Insurance, our client, our passion. International Facilities Management, and Safari Vac, bringing you closer to nature. So I would mention some few names and tell you what they have in common. Hassan Ayarega, former presidential aspirant. Tanko Computer, acting CEO, GIFEC. Joseph Obeng, Guta president. Edward Ajeman, former Audit Service Board member. Dr. Grace Ayensu, Deputy Health Minister. Richard Asiedu, the NDC Central Regional Chairperson. There are some more names. Williams Abayawin Atulik of the Heritage Christian University. And I already mentioned Edward Ajeman. There is also Phyllis Nakoyo Okuno, MP, Ewutu Senya East. Desmond de Graft Peitu, MP, Gomoa East. Kwame Adom Frempong, and Kwame is with the Internal Audit Agency. And I've mentioned Tanko Computer. I've mentioned Joseph Obeng already. There is Emmanuel Opokuwari, who is a former director of the Internal Audit Agency. There is Isaac Abam. Isaac Abam is also with the University of Environment and Sustainable Development somewhere in the North region. All these people have one thing in common. They've received letters from GTEC that they should provide evidence backing the usage of either doctor or professor. How did we get here as a country? Kofi, I'll start with you. I saw your post about Dr. Nkrumah.
No, Dr. Nkrumah. There was a discussion.
Mandela,
it was about Mandela, yeah.
And you made the point that Mandela received over 200 honorary...
over 250 honorary doctorates and over 400 different honorific titles.
Wow.
Across
but he
the
never
world.
used any of them.
He never called himself Dr.
So
Mandela.
why are we here?
Why we are here is because it's a cultural issue. In a culture where people are respected and rewarded more for their titles, positions, and names than their actual performance, production, and contribution, people will work towards titles, positions, and names rather than performance, contribution, and actual, work.
Yeah.
So it's a cultural issue. Okay, the Kwame Nkrumah aspect, unfortunately, is true. He didn't finish his PhD. He got something and then he called himself Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But there's a point there. I do believe there's a place for honorific titles.
Yeah.
In my view, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was fit to hold that in honor.
Honoris causa.
Yes, was fit. And there are a number, we don't have time, I would have told you a number of stories about people who had, was one of them who he got it and said, oh, now he has to work for it. So it creates a certain, dynamic.
Yeah.
But then you have a situation where we've built this culture at the highest level, and I know people in academia who basically have gone through degree mills just to acquire these, titles, and they actually got promoted through it. And
really?
Yeah. Somebody got some funny doctorate, and then through that they've gotten a professorship, and they are moving on. So, bottom line, when you see somebody called Dr. Who and ask him, so what have you done?
What do you have to show?
What contribution have you made? Today, there's a whole movement, especially in the US, that is working against people acquiring higher degrees, because they are saying the people who are changing the world, many of them are actually school dropouts. Part of it is because of these things. You have people with big names and titles, and they don't have anything to show for it. So what we've created is a culture which rewards these names, and people don't ask actual performance. So that's why we are where we are. And for that reason, you see, people think, oh, why should you? Unfortunately, for you, it's a personal thing, but it poisons the whole society. In fact, I've come to a point where when I hear doctor, immediately I see something. The reverend ministers and all those people. So it's just spoiled that thing. Look, with respect to my fellow Nigerians, they've experienced that situation where people have all these titles, so nothing means anything. There was a time when I was growing up. When you hear somebody's a doctor of anything, you look at the person twice.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal because you know they earned it. Today, no. No. And in fact, a lot of my friends who have doctorates, they rather write ABC and they write PhD. Okay, so you have a situation where the culture is actually making nonsense of actually seeking those things. And my last point, people are they are bypassing the University of Ghana and the proper process. There are about 10 institutions in Ghana properly licensed who are just selling degrees. And they are going there and buying them. You go, you pay the fees, astronomical fees, you sit at home, get somebody to write your thing for you. After 2 years, you go for the graduation, they put a gun on you, And that
writing
culture,
50-page PhD thesis. I'm like, really? 50 pages?
That culture is deleterious. What I mean is, it eats at us over time. So what GTech is doing, whatever you say about it, somebody
on what GTech is doing, because you're a lawyer, Professor Kwekwasari makes the point that GTech may be breaching the Constitution in that because they are exercising some sort of discretionary power. He says there should be a regulation in place to let us know how far they can go, because some, as you said, and just to quote his point, he says, when the law says the commission shall regulate, it is a grant of regulatory authority. But under Article 296 of the Constitution, commissions and agencies cannot act arbitrarily or in an ad hoc manner. A commission with regulatory authority is at a minimum expected to A, publish regulations, directives or guidelines which will be gazetted, clearly define what uses are permitted and what count as misuse, and provide processes for registration, approval, or enforcement. He says, as we speak, this has not been done. You see, so the power GTech is exercised, and he makes the point that when you are given authority, let me get that, a grant of power is not equal to license to act without rules.
Professor Azari is making an argument, and that argument has merits. It does not mean it's a winning argument. I can make the same argument. In fact, there's a lot of argument about bail. All right? Yoko gives bail. The police give bail. Okay? In my view, I'm very assured in my mind that it's not constitutional.
Okay.
Why? Because the whole essence of bail is to restrict or limit the power of the arresting authority. So if you are the one that can give bail, and if you look at it, the same rule, Article 296. So if Yoko and the bosses there, who are not judges, are giving bail and exercising that,
then there should be regulations to guide that.
Do that.
Yeah.
And one of these days, we'll go to the Supreme Court and have that done now. So it's an argument. But is it stopping Yoko from keeping Shatawale? No. So those are in every society, you balance these things, and when the time is ripe, you put these things in place. So I'm not saying he's wrong. And maybe GTech should do that. But in the interest of probity and integrity, GTech is right to do what it is doing now. Somebody has to do it. In this country, Professor Ade, my own worthy professor, who in every sense of the word is a proper person to call himself a professor, and I don't want to go through the history of whatever it is, he was sued because essentially somebody said he's using the term professor when he hasn't merited it. What does it mean to merit it? The man is producing results which some other professors are not producing.
Very well.
Okay, but he was sued. Fine, sue him. But it turned out that he was, vindicated. So my point is, you have a situation where we've come to a tipping point.
Okay.
And the tipping point, so I agree with people like Professor Asari that, maybe we should organize it better.
Okay.
But we can't say until that is done, we should leave these brigands to go around talking and calling themselves professor. This gentleman said, no, let me do. This gentleman sitting by me is a professor. Very young man. Do you know what he has got to become
a professor?
And he is, in every sense of the word, properly. Now, if you didn't know him well, all right, and because of all that is going on, he comes and says, my name is Professor Bobkin. You look at him and say, how old are you? When did you come? Okay, but he's paid the price.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of young professors like that. And I'm like, what does it say to these people? And I'm telling you, our youth today are moving away from them because they don't see the point in paying the price, okay, to gain that thing fair and square because of all that is going on. So,
very well. And the point about having regulations for the exercise of every discretionary power is what Dateba referred to as a meltdown. It may lead to a meltdown of governance. Because it's not just possible.
It may.
It may, of course.
Again, you see, you cited something which is big for lawyers. Dateba is revered.
Sure.
And he was right in that context.
Yes.
But the context is important. When you say may, given that context, yes, we understand it.
Sure.
But indeed, that provision is extremely important for the regulation of powers within
discretionary power. That's true.
Within any society.
That's true.
So, for that context, yes. But in the broader context, it takes away from the essence of 296. And 296, anybody who is not a judge, including the president, exercising a discretion, must give us clear rules.
Remember that argument was made when the president suspended the Chief Justice. Prof. Bokwen, you're a professor. When you hear all of these arguments, I mean, how does that make you feel?
Well, on one hand, you could say, I could let go. Let go. Somebody told me something. He said, look, these politicians, they want the power, they want the money, they want the business, now they want our titles also. The only thing we can boast of. they want that one also. I think that, yes, I agree that there should be a lot of sensitization. Yes. A lot of people have used this honorary and so maybe without properly understanding the implications and all of that. And I'm sure GTech will do a lot of sensitization, publication, and all of that. I remember some years back, I think it was Professor Yanka, who then was the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, who gave explanation about the use of these titles and all of that.
I heard that his speech, I think at the Academy of Art and Sciences, he delivered a speech on that.
Yes, and I took time to read it, and I learned a lot from that. But I'm not too sure how widespread in terms of how you can use this and all of that. But clearly, this sector is very huge. And without regulation, it may be something else. And I agree totally with elsewhere, people go through all of this. They don't even refer to themselves as doctor. People they are doctors, all right, but they just write their name and move on because the whole thing is performance. The whole thing is productivity and all of that. Unfortunately for us, we are not driven by any of this, okay? And it's because of the incentive mechanism we have put in place that people are responding to, okay? So you are a doctor, it means that, that gives you a certain privilege or respect or something, or accomplishment. Meanwhile, you really haven't, there's no performance or productivity akin to that. But on the broader issue, we are at the point where, look, titles carry anointing. Titles carry anointing. The drive is to acquire titles by whatever means. Either at the lower end, it's easier to meet somebody who has like 2 or 3 or 4 masters. What have you achieved? And all of that is simply because the incentive mechanism we have put in place as a country does not put premium on productivity, real work. Everybody is just doing deals. Everybody is trying to, and so nobody wants wants to work hard. And that is why somebody will say that, look, how many people genuinely even write their long essays for either undergraduate or masters or even all of that.
PhD.
Yes, and all of that. Then, so I think that it's good. I commend GTech. Okay. Somebody said they woke up too late anyway. We've allowed this sector, I mean, and all of that. But I believe that it will also come with proper education. I felt a bit that the naming and shaming and all of these things, perhaps, is there another way we could manage it? Because for, some of them didn't know how that this was supposed to be used this way or that way. It's also possible that they've been prompted and yet they decided to disregard that and all of that. But I think the message is quite clear.
Okay.
There are approved channels that you can get this legitimately and go through all of that. But I think as a country, we should move beyond that.
Very well.
We should be driven by productivity, by performance. That should be our consideration rather than we seem to worship titles. And it's all over. And we parade all these things and the question is, what have you done? You acquire all of this. What have you done? What is the transformation? What's the productivity? And the rest of them. I mean, even if it genuinely and through the hard work, how are we using it to impact society? How are we using it? How is it reflecting in how we engage students? Teaching, are we, and the rest, it's not like you just get this and then you do the minimum and all of that. So I think that I agree that regulation is very important. We need to sanitize the sector.
Thank you.
It should also come with proper education and for its usage. In fact, some people are even struggling how they should even write the doctor by their name and all of that. Okay, so
very well, Prof. Thank you. So my two politicians, maybe 2 minutes each, we are really against. I'll start with you, Richard. Okay. What do you think?
Yes, I am completely disgusted by Mr. Kofi Bettel's rendition that this thing people are moving against this whole PhD. Almost makes me want to drop out of school because the premium on it is lost. But if done properly, the very demand of any PhD is to ascertain what contribution you are making to the literature space you are engaged in. So that contribution is inherent if done properly. And so I think GTech
is a way of moving society forward.
And
so development is knowledge intensive.
Exactly. So maybe in our country, perhaps the connection from the knowledge production in academia and policy probably needs to be strengthened a bit more so that these contributions can translate into policy. But I think that GTech is adding value. Ultimately, that will put premium on how people become and restore the dignity
That's
to it.
the only thing we have.
Exactly. but
we don't have the money.
Oh, you have the money. The point I want to make, I think, is Professor Kokwaza.
Yes.
I want to ask this. Argument is making relative to GTech adhering to a certain rule, that which rule doesn't exist and therefore they are in breach of the Constitution. I want to ask, I don't know, I don't remember, I stand to be corrected. In the case of the President's exercise of Article 146, 6 and 10, in suspending the Chief Justice.
That same argument
has he made...
The publication should have been should have been
you
done.
Understand? So I think we have to be consistent and then try that we are moving our country forward in dealing with these matters uniformly. I still hold that this whole business with the Chief Justice should stop. In my view, it should stop because it is a botched idea.
Don't let us
it is a political enterprise and it should stop.
Thank you.
But otherwise, I commend GTech.
Very well. One of our viewers in the US of A says, Obi, in the US, only medical doctors use the prefix doctor. PhD holders don't ordinarily use the prefix doctor. So you may not see Condoleezza Rice calling herself Dr. Rice, but Miss Rice. That's US. Ghana, hey.
Richard S. can help himself.
Well, let's see if you can help yourself.
I think GTech should be commended
for this, and I agree with the submissions made. There should be some sanity around.
Yes.
I mean, now doctors in Ghana are fighting for their title. So now they say when you write doctor, the DR dot, you have to into brackets med.
Yeah.
So because the encroachment is just too much. Because you go to the hospital, doctor, but they are not medical doctors.
Yeah.
So it is important that there is some sanity
in the
around
space.
In the space. But like I said, like everybody has said, it has to be done in the right way. If we need to enact a regulation, let's enact it. If we need to do whatever it is
What is
to
being
support.
done is not wrong.
Yes.
It can be improved.
It can be improved, yeah. But see, I agree with you on the societal penchant for accolades.
Yes.
You see, with nothing to show for. With absolutely nothing to show for.
Form over substance.
Form over substance. And you see, we have to restructure or rewire even the way our public institutions and other institutions even reward results. You can be the best performing in your unit or everywhere. If you don't produce a master's degree, you are stuck.
Yeah.
I know somebody who went somewhere for a role. For a role.
Yeah.
And they told the person had over 16 years experience. But just that he was working in an environment with the first degree, which didn't require that you need to be promoted to show a master's. He entered public institutions. They say you need 8 years post-master's experience.
Yes.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
No. What I'm saying is that
nothing wrong with that.
No. Wait. You see,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm trying to say
that is more important than
what I'm
titles.
trying to say is that it is the society's penchant to place value on paper over
performance.
Yeah. That is why everybody is going in.
And in the labor market, the labor market is actually discounting this. People have mastered, but they are doing work that maybe
People don't care. But you know, at base, it's indicative of what you can do. Indicative is indicative. Yeah. So you need it to be able to measure.
No, so for somebody who has indicated that for 16 years I've been a top performer,
what do you need?
What do you need?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Actually, outside the job treasure that.
It's a bigger conversation. We should encourage DTech to do what it has to, but it has to be done in the right way.
Thank you.
It's not wrong.
Thank you so much. Yes. This answer will be great job. I am Isaac Kofi Nyanksen. Yes, I end it, Charlie. And he's CSIR, BRRI. The Director of Training at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Srebo Kweku, says, Obi, we tire before the PhD. So we need to be accorded the title. Doc, I agree with you. I agree. It's been great having our guest on the show this afternoon. Frederick Emisa, who is technical advisor to the Minister in charge of Finance of the Republic, a professor and a proper professor, Godfred A. Buckman, Professor of Finance and Economics, University of Ghana, Legon, Nana Eduna II, spokesperson for the Ghana Cocoa Farmers Association and the Cocoa Entrepreneur, joined us via Zoom. Richard Ahiagba, soon to be called Dr. Richard Ahiagba, Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, and at least for us lawyers,
after that, his party will win the election.
At least for us lawyers, there is not much controversy around the usage of that title, apart from a few quack lawyers here and there. So lawyer Kofi Bentel, proper lawyer and senior vice president.
To pronounce
Iman.
That lawyer, it's a prefix we can use.
No, it's either you that or
learned people.
Thank you so very much. My name is Philip Osei-Bonsu. I'm permitted to use the Esquire. So Philip Osei-Bonsu Esquire. And thank you. I sat in for the regular host, lawyer Samson Ladi. And have a great day. And we'll be back. Proper law. We'll be back next week. Good afternoon.
When we connect,
everything is possible. Whatever seems unreachable